Good morning, everyone. So I am doing, and I said I was going to do it step by step, and I'm sorry. I always think that certain steps are dumb to do, but it really isn't, because if nobody has seen that type of meat or whatever, but there's no excuses. So I've already come this far, I can't go back. So this is a 5-pound pork shoulder. This has cooked almost 24 hours. I started it the first 12 hours yesterday around maybe noon, and I turned it where the fat was facing here, so when it cooked I could scrape that fat off the back of it, because it's so thick and I didn't want all that. I wanted the flavor, but I didn't want it in there. Now what I'm making, a lot of people outside of South Carolina may have not have heard of this. It's called, I'm going to call it hash and rice, because if I call it hash, people will think it's something else. Because you cook something called hash, and it's not the same thing that we call it. Now the reason you cook it so long, and I've cooked this in a crock pot, but the original way to do it, you take a big old cauldron almost. It's black. It's a humongous. And it's cooked outside mostly. And it's stirred with a boat paddle. And they cook it, and people take turns. I mean, they'll have a start that day. They'll be cooking into the night. People will come over. It's a big to-do. So if you do something that big, you'd probably need 10 or more. They use pork shoulders. They use pork butts. They'll use pork and beef. I've seen them use pork, beef, and chicken. Hash is a very funny thing, because to me, if it doesn't have a lot of flavor, I don't like it. And there's probably now 3. One is about an hour away from me in Batesburg, Leesville. That's kind of in the middle of the state. I like theirs, a restaurant called Sheely's. It's a yellow base kind. Then there's a place in Greenwood called Lee's Barbecue? Theirs is good, and they sell it in the grocery stores here. So what I'm doing is, you want to get this meat stringy like this. That's when you have to cook it so long. And what's recent, I just found out, because it's so fun, you find things out that you didn't know about your state, is in the middle of the state, there's a thing called barbecue hash. I have just found this out, looking up all the recipes for hash and rice. It kind of reminds me of Brunswick stew. Now, a lot of people, I know everybody around me has never heard of this. I live in the upstate. So it's kind of like a small portion in our state where it came from. Now, hash is usually sold with barbecue. Pulled pork, barbecue chicken. You know, if you go to a barbecue joint, that's where you're going to find hash and rice. Now, when I came in to, once I took that fat off the back, I flipped it over, and I cut 1 onion to cook in it for the next 12 hours. You know, and I kept the bone in there, so that bone, get all the flavor out of that bone. I did take the bone out probably right before I went to bed, which was midnight. And so this is the way I want it. I've seen people put it in a food processor and make mush out of it for the barbecue hash, and that's just too mushy for me. This is what you want. You want a stringy pork that's been cooked a very long time. And the key with those big cauldrons, they have to stir and stir and stir, and that's what gets the stringy. It's like a stringy meat hash is. So this has got 32 more minutes. I'm gonna let it finish, and then I'm going to start adding the other ingredients, and then I'll cook it again with those ingredients. I don't think you could cook this too much. What I'm going to drain this also, because I don't want all that. It's going to make its own juice. Again, I don't want all that grease in there. My goal, because when I eat hash, is I like it to be tangy and have a lot of flavor. So that's what I'm looking for. And I may have to do taste tests in between. I know I'm going to put mustard in there. I know I'm going to put apple cider vinegar in there. Salt and pepper, maybe. I know some people put pepper flakes. I may put some hot sauce in there. More onions. A lot of people put potatoes. If I don't want to put potatoes in mine, if I did, it'd be very fine diced. So I'll come back when I start adding. We've drained it and add the ingredients. Okay, everybody. I know it's shaking right now. I've got a little device trying to help me do this so I can be hands-free. So I've drained it. I almost wanted to do the rest of this in my Dutch oven, but I'm just going to continue with the crock pot, so this can be a crock pot recipe and people can try it, because a lot of people in the South love hash, and the reason I wanted to start making it was for this reason. Hash by the quart, the cheapest you can get it is $10. The most I've seen it sell for is $12 to $13. In the grocery store, it's $11. That restaurant that makes it. So these are the ingredients I'm going to start out with. I may add more of the same, or I may add something different. So while this is cooking, I'm going to do more research and see what else would make it tangy. The mustard's going to make it tangy. Now it says 9 ounces of mustard. I'm not measuring. I'm an old Southern lady. Well, not that old, but my grandma, you cannot write her recipes down as a dash, a pinch, of everything. So you have to really just watch her. Like I said, this is just a start. And with hash, you can add and go. And you can taste and go. I really think y'all all like this. I hope I get this recipe. This is my first time. Like I said, I've always bought it. This probably make 2 quarts, maybe. So that's, I think I got this on sale for like $6 or $8. So that's what they do. They buy them up, buddy. When they go on sale, they buy them pork butts and pork shoulders up. So this is, it said red pepper flakes. And I'll let you know what recipe I'm using. You can find it online. It's called Gippy Swamp, South Carolina hash. And I'm kind of using their recipe. If it's not tangy, I can't eat it. It's like, there's some that's just, I hate to pay $12 or $10 for hash that's just bland. And that's what the potatoes do to me. And I've known people that put bacon in it. But, you know, it boils so long. The bacon, I don't think you can, if you don't fry bacon or use the grease, it gets lost to me. Okay, this recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of pepper flakes, and you see I put the hot sauce in there. And it wants, like this recipe is 5-pound pork shoulder, 2-pound onions, 1 pound potatoes diced, 1 cup of apple cider. Now I will do 1 cup because I believe my apple cider is going to be a big, I don't think it called for apple cider. I think it called for regular cider. But if I've got to use cider, I want to use apple cider. Now you'll notice when you make hash or eat hash, it will be watery. So you usually have a spoon that has holes in it. So when you get ready to put it on your rice, it soaks in that rice. You have to watch people too. They'll sell you hash and half of it be water and you just got half meat. I've seen a restaurant here in town do that. Alright, so we've got the mustard, the hot sauce, the vinegar. I'm thinking I need more mustard in there. I should give it a taste. I've got to put the salt and pepper. Let me give it a taste. My aunt's going to be so proud of me if I make this a home run. It's me and her, we call ourselves hash connoisseurs. Yeah, well, I didn't put the salt and pepper. Just say it needs something else. It ain't quite there. I'm a pepper person. My husband says, don't put no pepper in and he don't like vinegar a lot. Like, he'll never know this has vinegar in it. He'll just taste that tang. Or sometimes you can trick them. It's like a kid when you gotta trick them to eat the vegetables. Like I said, there's so many people. A lot of this recipe is passed down to families. And people will not down here where I live give you their recipe. They'll tell you a little bit about it. But that's about it. Not they'll let it slip. I had to go and get this much bacon, this much onion, this much. See, adding that salt and pepper, it did great. But I'm going to do more mustard. Because I would think it would take a lot of mustard. And another round of hot sauce on there. I know this looks like a lot, but there's a lot of meat in here to be absorbed. And I don't like real spicy, so believe me. I'm not trying to make it a World War III taste here. And the only thing that's not cooked is this other onion I put in there, and it'll get nice and cooked as I cook it for the rest. I'm probably gonna cook it on high for 4 hours, and that will be the all it will need. And if this hash works this way, man, a lot of people are gonna be happy that they can make hash in the crock pot and finally say I've made a true southern South Carolina dish. It tastes good. I do think I'm still gonna have to add more. I'm telling you, it takes a lot. So we're gonna add some more apple. Add the rest of this apple cider. Don't have much to go. So it's one of those taste and go, especially if you're funny about certain ingredients you're putting in here. Like, you might not be a big mustard fan. Maybe you want to try some Dijon in there, not the yellow. Maybe you don't want apple vinegar. Maybe you want regular vinegar. So you've got to take your time with this recipe. Alright. That's the most taste test that I've done on a recipe in my life on YouTube. Let's see. Oh yeah, y'all. It's getting there. I may not have to add. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this just to see how much I added or what. That's one good thing about YouTube. You have a document. And I'm proud to be able to share this, being from my state. And sometimes people think they're putting too much salt in things, but certain things has to have a good amount of salt, like grits. Grits has to have a lot of salt. Excuse me.
That piece does not want to come. I think a little bit more mustard and we'll be on our way. May have to put some water in there, which won't hurt because Lord, I can't make hot dogs. I ain't got no mustard for my husband this week. I'm gonna go get some more mustard. I hope this is doing okay. It's a kind of an arm attached thing, and it holds the foam for you. Trying to hurry and hope the phone don't ring. See, I cannot taste, y'all, any of that hot sauce. I don't feel the heat. Okay. One more round of hot sauce. I understand this is a big pork shoulder. It doesn't need any more salt. I've got the right amount of salt, I do believe. And I will try that barbecue hash too. I'm very curious about that. Now, I've seen people on YouTube, oh, there's so many recipes, you don't know what to go by. But one lady put sage in it. I'm like, okay, sage is for Thanksgiving and your dressing. I don't know about that, but you never know. Like I said, that was passed down from her mother to her. And that's what they're used to eating. Alright, one more taste. Then you'll see the end results. Which the end results will probably look like this, but the onions will be done. Wow, y'all, that's it. I am so proud of myself. Alright, so the top's on. It's going to cook. All it's really going to do is get all those flavors together, cook those onions, and it will be ready, and I will be my first batch of hash. I'm so proud of myself. Alright, enough bragging on me. Alright, I love you guys. I'll be back with the final, I can't even think, I'm so excited. The end. Alright, love y'all. Okay, everybody, it's been cooking. I set it on 4 hours, and it's at 2 hours and 47 minutes in. I talked to my aunt. She's visiting her daughter in Kansas, and she'll be there for a while. I forget how long. And she told me to save her some, so I have to. This stuff freezes very well. I'm giving it another taste. And the one thing I'll tell my husband and my aunt, because they do this, it drives me crazy. Do not put salt on it before you taste it. This is, I think, the correct amount of salt. I like to season my food very well where you don't have to add salt. And all I ask is that you taste it before you add salt. That's one of my pet peeves. I don't have many when I'm cooking. But this is, I am so proud of this. And you'll see, right in here, you'll see some of that juice. But it's not dry. You would think after I drained it, you would have to put water in it. And in my other videos, y'all have heard me. I do not like to put water in my cooking. I either do broth. Now, adding that apple cider was your liquid. So it's going to give it more liquid. And as the meat cooks, you're probably going to have more fat releasing out of that. And then with the mustard, I was running out and I mixed it with just a little bit of water. So it gave it a good flavor. I cannot eat. Even the recipe said to cook the pork shoulder and fill it all the way up with water. No way, Jose. Because if I had done that, this crock pot would have been running over because there was grease all the way up to here. And there's no reason to add. I mean, chicken breasts don't produce grease. You know, if something that doesn't produce grease, you got to add the liquid. But something that you know is going to produce fat, don't add water. I just can't stand it. So I'm going to let this cook the full 4 hours because I want those onions real soft, and I want all these flavors to be able to combine. I'll make some rice. I was going to make tacos tonight, but I think we're having hash and rice. And my husband's from South Carolina. He's from more near the mountain region, near Walhalla. He's from a town called Townville. It's on almost the border of Georgia. I lived there for 4 years. And he had never had so many things that I grew up with. That just tells you that's an hour. See, Townville's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Anderson, it's in Anderson County, which Anderson is about an hour from me. And it just shows you how you're raised, how different things. He never had garlic powder, garlic salt on his food. Never had hash. It's just so many funny things that when you're raised different or you're in a different region of the state, how things are different. It's just so funny to me. That's why I love learning these things. I love learning things from other people's states. Like, what was the top 3 recipes you grew up on? I love making that stuff. I love learning new things. I know people say, I like to cook different countries' food. I don't. I like to cook the different regions of our own state. I mean, our own country here. It's so cool. So, when it gets to the 4 hours, I'll have the rice made and I'll show you how I plate it. Okay, everything is ready. Here's the hash. Here's some rice. We always eat our hash out of a bowl. So, that's the way it looks when you eat hash. Got your rice and your hash. So I'm going to upload this video, and I hope y'all try this and enjoy it. And again, I am so excited. I sent a picture of it to my aunt. I posted on Facebook. A lot of people are excited about it, as much as I am. So give this a try. I will list the recipe. If you have any questions, just let me know. Bye.